Our guests, Healthy for Life cooking class. And, hey, we have, good morning, Memorial Hospital in here. Hi, Shannon, what's going on? Who do we have here? And we're talking, I love this, Healthy for Life cooking classes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have Dr. Yami Cazorla-Lancaster with us
doctor.
today.
Hello. Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah. Healthy living, healthy cooking.
Shouldn't it be Dr. Yummy then? Dr. Yummy? I bet you've never heard that one before.
Yakima Valley Memorial Hospital and Kohl's Cares have teamed up to bring you Healthy for Life, a program dedicated to helping you live better, be healthier. The program includes free exercise classes, yoga, boot camp, Zumba, which we've talked about on our show, and cooking classes geared to encouraging healthy cooking and eating habits in kids. Yeah, the yoga classes were offered earlier this year.
Yoga classes are ongoing.
Oh,
Yoga,
really?
Zumba. If you go to yakimamemorial.org and click on the calendar of events, you can see the schedule for all of those classes. There's a boot camp, there's yoga, there's Zumba. Some of those are offered in both English and Spanish. And the cooking classes, we did a first round of the Spanish cooking classes, and they were gangbusters. And we have Dr. Yami here today to give some tips for healthy eating. We just filled the first round of English cooking classes.
Hey, all right.
So they are going like gangbusters. So we just filled those. So she's here today to offer some tips for healthy eating for the kids in the summer. And then we're hoping to have her back again when we have another round of classes open.
All right, tofu pizza and no. Well, why is a healthy diet so important?
Well, I think a lot of people don't know that our lifestyle choices contribute to about 80% of our preventable chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, things like that. So our diet really has a huge part of how healthy we are, and even cancers. So a lot of people don't really know that cancer is 30% attributable to diet. So these lifestyle changes can really make a difference. We're getting to near about a third of our children being either overweight or obese. These problems start in childhood. In fact, we know that plaques develop in the arteries as young as 2 years old.
Wow.
So we should really pay attention to how we feed our children. And the time is now to change our eating habits so we can start to reverse this dangerous trend. So a healthy diet is just part of a spectrum of healthy lifestyle choices that you can make to prolong your life and bring you more joy and vitality in your life.
Are there just certain foods, doctor, that you're just like, you just got to take off? You just got to take off the menu. You just got to pull them out of your refrigerator. Are there certain foods that right now you could tell me to go home and take out of my refrigerator right now?
And bring them over to Dave's.
That was your wife that just texted you, I think.
She said, don't say that.
What I like to talk about in my healthy cooking classes is the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time, try to eat as healthy as possible. If you know that there's foods that you have in your house that you can't stop eating if they're there, particularly like junk foods, sodas, things like that, take them out of your house, but don't tell yourself, I'm never going to have that again. Just make a rule that I'm not going to have that at home. When I go out to eat at a restaurant for my special time, that can be my 20% of fun time. So that it's about 4 meals a week if you're having 21 meals a week. 80% of the time, as healthy as possible. Keep your home the mecca of health. 20% of the time, have fun.
I see. I'm a big fan of cookies. Do I have to?
Aren't we all?
I grew up in an era in which you ate dinner and you had a dessert. Mm-hmm. You always had dessert afterwards. Mm-hmm. If you go to Powerhouse Grill, everyone owes dessert. But I mean, are you saying I can't have dessert?
No, I'm definitely not saying that. And I actually hear that from a lot of parents that they're so used to feeding their kids dessert every single night. But one of the things you can do is replace it with healthier options, replace it with fruit or desserts that are lower in calorie density. Or, like I said, make it a rule just to have dessert on special occasions. Have it at the restaurant, at the parties and stuff like that, but not every single night.
Right on. Well, what do you focus on when you're teaching a cooking class, doctor?
What I focus on is how to make eating plants, because I do talk about a plant-based diet, simple, easy, and nutritious and delicious. So I teach the children and their parents about the nutrition guidelines of a plant-based diet. So we talk about fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes being your bean and lentil family. And then I show them at least 2, sometimes 3 different recipes that they can make really quickly. And what I'm surprised about usually is how surprised they are about how delicious it is and how easy it was to make, the kids and the parents.
Wow.
You getting inspired,
my
Dave?
food life is flashing before my eyes here. You know, I have a couple weeks ago, I got some information from a doctor that really all of the times that you've kind of wagged your little finger at me, Shannon, and said, Dave, this is really about you. It really is. And so I've started to do some of those very things. Pardon me. I've started eating a lot more fruit cups and things like that, of the fresh fruit, not the syrup type fruit. Lance has seen me in here eating non-processed foods for breakfast and things like that.
Awesome.
And I lost 14 pounds in like 8
Amazing.
days.
Wow.
Good job.
And giving up soda.
Yes, that's a
Soda's
huge one.
huge.
I went to the movies and I didn't even order a soda this weekend. Are you kidding me? That's like the first time in 50 years.
Good job.
So yeah, I can see already, and I could just tell it's going to be easier just on knees and ankles and joints from lugging myself around. And you know, we had some folks in here the other day, Doctor, that were talking about a sort of a summit for health providers, talking about childhood obesity Farm Workers Clinic and some other folks, and they're going to be on the front lines of really dealing with that now too. And you're absolutely right. When it can start as early as age 2, we can no longer just. I mean, it's a fine line between telling people what to do with their kids, your guys' approach where you give healthy options, but as a nation, it's costing us, billions of dollars in medical costs for health for people who start out as obese kids and become obese and have all those health problems that come along with it. So you're on the front line of maybe changing the nation.
Yes, thank you. And actually, I was part of that summit last week.
I was wondering if you
and
weren't,
I
yeah.
talked about the effective interventions for childhood obesity. And of course, one of the things I said was eat more plants. That's a big part of it, is we need to eat more whole plant foods. And just like you said, less of the processed foods.
About everywhere, there's about 40 million cows going, whew. And then they're going, wait a second, I got to compete with them now for grass? What's up with that? But plant-based is a huge adjustment for this farm kid. But I'm going to give it a shot, and we'll see.
All right.
But our kids, definitely, before they get all the bad habits that I have developed over the years, we definitely want to get them on it. So you do have more classes that you can fill. I mean, you've got the one full, but give us a
Yes,
list.
so I speak Spanish as well, so I do the classes in both Spanish and English. So the English one is starting on June 18th, but it's already full, and then I have a Spanish one in September. But hopefully in the future I'll be doing a lot more of these classes, and you can find more information on my website as well as the Memorial website, and my website is VeggieFitKids.com.
VeggieFitKids.com makes sense. Is there a cultural difference? Do we see a higher percentage of kids, Anglo kids, that might be obese as opposed to Hispanic kids, or do we not see anything like that?
Unfortunately, yes, there are definitely some ethnic disparities. We, especially in this community, having a high Latin American population, there are a lot of Latin American kids that are disproportionately affected by overweight and obesity.
And that's about making healthier food choices.
Yep.
That's right.
Within budgets that because there's income disparity in dealing with that as
yes,
well.
and
so.
there's a lot of cultural differences. And a thing I like to point out is I don't bring any parents into my office to blame them or shame them, because we all have very different lifestyles.
Right.
And some of these families, they're working 2 jobs and they're just trying to do their best. So it's about changing their habits, and these families are very interested in changing their habits. When they came to my class, they were trying the recipes at home, they were having success, and in my clinic I see that the families are having success in changing habits so that the children are getting healthier.
Well, let's get more of them to the class. Let's get to that website, and let's work the little doc's fingers to her bones, teaching people how to cook and eat better and live like a cow. I mean, a plant-based consumer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Doctor.
Appreciate it. It's 8:46. Good advice, and I'm hoping that I could stay with it. Lance, we just talked about happiness being a choice. This is a choice, and hopefully this is a choice that will lead to greater happiness. Let's face it, there's a lot of depression and a lot of ostracization and feeling bad about yourself if you get on the wrong path as a kid. Change it now while you can. It's a choice. It's a decision, and the good doctor has recipes that'll make it yummy. Thank you, Dr. Yami.